right, here we are. Today is the 20th, 21st. I don't know, I'll say later in the video what today is. I think it's the 20th of March. Either way, I just got done building my veg tent RDWC system on one side and the top fed seedling early veg system on the other side. It's all tied in the same sump. So this is going to be a video of how I started from start to finish on building this system. Actually, I built the RDWC waterfall system before, and I'm tying it into this because it just works out better that way. But it's going to be kind of a long video, so if you want to see how everything works out, I leak test at the end and everything works fine. So, but just go ahead and skip to whichever part you want to see or how it works. But it's going to be a long video, and let's get it started. What's up, everybody? I'm not sure if you guys saw the last video, the Cannabis Grow Series Part 3. But in that video, I decided that I had two problems right now. One is, I guess I'm going to have to do damn water changes because I did the water change that night, and the plant that was hurting is looking a little bit better now. So that's one thing I needed to do, water changes. So now I have to plan on doing water changes fairly frequently, which before I was thinking, I'm going to have a few systems going and I'm going to just not do water changes that often and, try and nurture the nutrients the way they need to be. But water changes is a foolproof method, just like with the reef tanks, same thing. If you don't know what you're doing, you need to do water changes. So I don't know what I'm doing enough to not do the water changes. So I'm going to do water changes. So now I have to start planning on doing more water changes. And two, I need to get my chiller hooked up ASAP. Because like I said, the temperatures are like 72.6. I think if I get my chiller going and I get the temperature down to 68 of the water and I get the water changes on point, then I think I'll have a lot less trouble. So I decided to do some work today and finish my, I've changed my entire vision of how I'm going to run my grow. It's going to be a perpetual grow like it was before. So it's going to be, we can have 12 plants. So it's going to be 3 sets of 4. And 8 of them are going to be a veg at a time, and the other 4 are going to be in a bigger flowering tent. So I just ordered a 9x5 tent off, it's in the mail, 9x5 tent, and that's going to be my veg tent. And now I need to build my setup for the veg tent. I'm going to tie the first 8 plants in together, the vegging plants. I'm going to tie them into the same reservoir. So I only have to do one water change per tent. So like I said, I hate water changes, so my entire goal in life is to limit them. So if I'm going to have to do them, I'm going to do less systems. So the minimum amount of, the least amount of systems I can do water changes on and do what I want to do with the way I want to grow is going to be 2 systems, the veg and the flower system. So this is going to be my veg setup. And let me just walk you through what I'm planning on doing here. So here's what I'm planning on doing. This is, I outlined out a 5x9 space in my garage with a tape. So inside this tape is 5 from the line to the tape by 9 out that way. And that's going to be against the wall over there. That side is going to be against the wall. And this is going to be the access sides, or all these 3 sides here. So here's what I have so far. This was a system I was going to use as a standalone system. Now it's going to be tied in with this one. So the whole premise of this is one reservoir. That's a really small reservoir, but we'll see what we can do with it. I can probably get a bigger one, but that's very cheap, and I'll just see how that works first. This is going to be the early veg, the small plants. So the tiny plants are going to be in this. They're going to have the same interchangeable lids like these, so I can move these to there when it's time. So the small plants are going to be here. And what I'm planning on doing, this is kind of a weird setup to most people probably, but I'm going through the bottom of the bucket. I drilled holes in this table, obviously. I'm going to go through the bottom of the bucket with a bulkhead. Bulkhead's going to come out, and I'm going to immediately put a union on it, and I'm going to run kind of a drainage manifold that's going to go down into the reservoir through the table. And I still need to drill the return line, or whatever you want to call it, the water coming back from the reservoir. I'm going to drill another hole here. It's going to come up and split off into different 4 tanks. So this is going to be a weird little standpipe system. It's more like aquariums, but it's going to be, the bulkhead's going to be here. There'll be a pipe coming out of it up to maintain the water level. And you'll see more of that when I get done with this buckets. But that's the plan for this tank, or for, sorry, not tank, for this table, this early vegetation seedling type table. It's going to be a standpipe, funky little system, and the reservoir is going to be down there. Here's the one I built before. It's a waterfall RDWC system. This took me a while to build, but a lot of PVC, a lot of unions, and a lot of valves. But either way, this thing is RDWC. This is the line coming in, and it's going to be going. It splits off evenly every direction, evenly these three directions, so the pressure will be even between all the buckets there. Obviously, that's where the waterfall is going to come in here. I can put a little elbow there and splash it down in the water, whatever direction I want. And here's the return back to the reservoir is this here. And what I did slightly different than most people's is I used this angle as the height adjustment for the buckets here. So the height's gonna be right there, and the bucket's right here. Oops, sorry, right here. Everywhere in the bucket's gonna be even with where the water drains here, which is right underneath the net pots. I already did some tests with this, and it comes out to about maybe half an inch or an inch below the net pots. These are 8-inch net pots. So that's the return here. I still have to build this where it's going to match up with the reservoir over there. And here's some drains so I can drain out the bottom of these buckets and not have to move them or do anything stupid with them. I put little ball valve drains on each one of these when I built it. So far, the only problem I see is that this is a little low for the reservoir over here. So I'm gonna have to put just put a board underneath each of these little shoes I have on these buckets, just to raise it up about another 2 inches. But once I get that raised up 2 inches, everything should line up pretty good here. Like I said, the way I built this was, these are on the table, because these are gonna be the tiny short plants, and it'll be easy to manage and work with. And then as they get bigger, I'm gonna dump them down a level into this. So this will be where they go until they get the height I want and the size I want to throw them into flower. So that is the plan right now. So I guess all I have to do now is start building this. Once I get this all the way built and get my tent, I'll tie in the chiller. The plan where the chiller is to put the chiller off. There's gonna be the return manifold where the pump's pumping into. One pipe's gonna go straight up into these, one pipe's gonna go over there that way, and then I'm gonna use a tubing to go out the tent here on this side, and there'll be a chiller right here. And so this side is gonna be the chiller, and the air pump will both be outside the tent here to keep the heat out. But right now that's the plan. Tonight I'm not gonna get that much done. I'm gonna put these bulkheads and unions on the buckets, and that's gonna be about it for tonight, but it's gonna be instant for you guys. I'll show you what I've done each step of the way. But that's my plan, and we'll see how it works out. Okay, here's what I've got so far. I had to, I actually couldn't do anything last night because I didn't have any inch PVC. So I just went to Home Depot and started today. And here's what I did so far. I put the bulkhead in, and then I put the union on. So considerations here with the bulkhead and the union is, the bulkhead, you don't want to squeeze it all the way where you're smashing out the gasket. I squeeze it basically until the gasket just starts budging outwards. That's about as tight as I can get it. I put some Dynaflex around each gasket to make sure they're a little bit better sealed, because it seems like they don't get that great of a seal on this plastic or any type of material like this. Glass, they seal easy. You never need anything like that. But on plastic and stuff, I like to use Dynaflex type stuff on them. Okay, so that's just through there with a little bit of Dynaflex around the gaskets. And here's the union. And so I use this is single step PVC cement. And this stuff is what I use for pretty much everything. I'm not needing to do things up to code. Basically, this stuff works just as good as the other stuff. It's not meant for like super high pressure stuff, but it's plenty fine for PVC for, you know, the pumps and pressures that I'll be putting on things. But it's one step instead of putting primer and then the cement on there, like they have to do to get you know, the purple primer to make sure that when they get inspected, they, you know, obviously use the purple primer and cement. I don't have to do that. I can just use what works and not worry about people coming and inspect my work. So I use this one-step piece cake. I don't know how much you guys know about PVC, but when you're making something snug like this, this is the best chance to screw something up that you can't come back from. So I put a little piece of PVC in here. Obviously, you have to glue PVC in here and then stick it on there. When you put the PVC in, if you don't hold it down for a few seconds, it'll slide back out, and you'll get a little gap there, and you just screwed yourself. So every time you put in a piece of PVC and glue it, you have to hold it in you hold the pieces together for at least a few seconds until they're not going to, you know, pop back out. For the unions, a good thing to do with unions, so you don't screw it up, is have them together when you glue them where they need to be. That's the one thing for unions. That way, this collar here, which is supposed to be on here, if you just have this piece and you start gluing things like this piece by themselves on here, you're going to forget to put the collar on, and then you're going to be screwed with the collar over here and not where you need it to be on there, and then you're basically just going to have to chop your bulkhead and start over. So when I glue unions on, I make sure they're put together, or I really have to pay attention and make sure this thing's on there when I'm gluing it on. So the other thing about unions is you can basically do them whichever way you want to do them, but when I do unions, I don't really care if they're horizontal, but if they're vertical, I always put the union with the gasket or the O-ring facing up. That way it's just harder to lose. You know, if it's on the pipe that's hanging down like this, and you take it off, it's out of your mind, so you're not as cognizant of the fact that it might fall out or you might lose it. So like I said, I always put it on the up-facing piece. One, because it's not hanging there and it won't fall out as easy, and two, because I can see it and I won't forget about it that way. So that is where I'm at so far. Put these unions on here, and now I need to go out and now I'm going to go outside, take all these buckets out there, and measure and build my drainage manifold off these. So here's all the pieces for the drainage manifold. The two T's and two I forget what you call those, three-way T, I guess, and or not three-way T, 90 T's, I don't know, something like that, and two elbows. And that's all I'm going to need for the pieces between the PVC. Oh, scratch that. I'm also going to need a little T. I've got it some outside already, but go outside and put these buckets on the stand and then measure for the manifold, and I'll get back to you when the manifold's done. All right, so here's measuring these distance between bulkheads to figure out the how to build the manifold here. Here's one consideration, is that this is going to have to be snug again, the piece here. There's going to be a pipe running across above the reservoir here. So this is going to be a tight fit when it comes to doing water changes and whatnot. Well, I guess it won't be that big of a deal, but just screwing around in the reservoir, it's going to be about a 4.5 inch gap there is all I'm going to have to work with. So that's one thing I didn't think about before, but it's manageable. It's just, I would have liked more space, but it is what it is. That's going to be one problem there, but let me get this thing built, see how it turns out. Okay, I am done with the drainage manifold now. Everything is hooked up here. All the unions underneath the bulkheads are all hooked into the, I guess I'll lay down for this. All hooked into the manifold here, so everything comes out at the bottom. You spot this one, it all comes around to this side over here, where I put a T there. So like I said, it comes from both sides into this T here. I put a union there, and the water is going to end up going from here back into the reservoir. And I'll worry about measuring a piece for that later when I'm sure exactly where the reservoir is going to be. But incredibly, all this stuff measured up pretty good, and it wasn't impossible to do. So, oops, sorry, bad focus. So yeah, that's complete now, and that's something I can take apart when I want to take apart this table or take apart the system. Unions are your best friend ever. What I end up doing to this table is just raising it up, maybe using a different border for the bottom, or just putting another one on the bottom, maybe another 2x4 on the bottom here, just to raise up another couple inches. And that way I'll have more room to work around the sump here. And also this thing, once I raise this up, this might be a little too high to get underneath the counter there. So I think it might be something I need to do is, like I said, raise the entire table up about one more 2x4 worth, and then it'll be the right height. And I should have plenty of height still above these plants, because like I said, these are going to be the babies. So that is what's happening now. I'm trying to figure out, let's see what I'm going to do next here. I might start working on that drainage pipe, that one, and go ahead and run it over here and build the piece for it. But I have to go back to Home Depot and get another 2-inch pipe for that to work with. But yeah, for now I'm pretty happy with what I've gotten so far. Also, so I need to run all that drainage back, and I need to run this line back to find out exactly where it's going to be under the counter, so then I can start building the pump manifold, which is going to come up, like I said, out of here into there. So it's going to come up to these buckets this way, and it's going to tee off that way. It's also going to go that way underneath to the chiller outside the tent. So I guess I will start figuring out exactly where those lines are going to run, so I can put it all together here and tie everything up and be done. Okay, this is a few days later. I had to kind of pause for a little bit, waiting on my neighbor Nick the carpenter. Monday night is wood shop night. Either way, so what we did was raised up everything by about 6 inches. This one took the legs there, took those out and put in 6-inch taller legs. So now everything's up higher 6 inches. Now I've got more clearance here between my drainage manifold, watch out Sparky, and where I'm going to access the reservoir on the side here. So now I've got a lot more space between here. Thank you, Hero. You good dog. So I got a lot more space there to access the reservoir. Also, I'm going to get a bigger reservoir, probably actually a couple inches taller. A 29-gallon reservoir is what I saw that I think I'm probably going to use. So yeah, so this is taller 6 inches, and this is taller 6 inches, which also will make it easier for this drainage pipe to get into the reservoir. It'll be high enough now, so it's not a problem. But that's where we're at right now. Like I said, we built this base here for my RDWC side, and everything looks like it should be working fine now. And now it is just time to I guess go ahead and plumb this sucker up and see how it looks when I get done with all the PVC running across. Oops, that looks. Oh, that's right. I forgot I had a union there. Okay, yeah. So everything's made me a little nervous there when I saw that the thing was spun around. But yeah, unions are all over the place, so I just need to tighten those up. But yeah, so I need to run the plumbing across for those two. I need to run the plumbing up through the table there. I need to cut a hole in the top of the table still. I'm going to have all this plumbing done probably the next time I come back with this video, and this system will basically be built by the time I got my new veg tent in the mail today. So I need to go set that up. Once that's set up and this is built, I'll put it all together and finish this video off. Okay, it is 9 p.m. on the 20th of March. It's a Saturday night and I had nothing to do, so I decided to come finish this plumbing. So here's what we got. This is going to be the early seedling veg area. And this is going to be the later veg area. This is going to be RDWC waterfall system. All the water's coming out of here, and here, and over there, and over there, and draining back through these pipes. These are the drains for changing water and whatnot. Here's the drain comes over here. I haven't actually finished the complete plumbing because that's not actually going to be the sump probably. It might be, but probably not. So here's the water coming back from the RDWC system. And here's the water going into it from the pump manifold. So over here is the seedling, like I said. So what we got is, in the manifold for the seedlings is down here. It comes from each bucket. There's a bulkhead on the bottom. And it just drains down around into that pipe over there. And that's going to drain back into the sump here also. So here's the pump that's going to be running everything. It's a pretty big pump. It's a DC pump, so you can change the flow. So coming up from the pump, let me make sure all these things are tight before I put the water in here. But yeah, so coming from the pump, you go straight through the table up to this manifold here. So this manifold, the up direction goes to this top fed bucket with the bulkheads system. So I haven't decided if I'm going to put a standpipe in here or not. I think I'm just going to go, especially when they're young, just go with the top fed and just let it drain out the hole in the bottom. And that should be fine for when the seedlings are young. When they get a little older, their roots are hanging way down. Maybe I'll put some water in there and throw a standpipe in to bring the water level up and put in a bubbler. But at this point, I think just running the water over the roots constantly is fine. So that's what's coming up out of there. So up, that's this system. This here is going to be tied into a chiller outside the tent. So I've got this valve closed right now. And the other side is, like I said, the output going to the waterfall system over there. So these ball valves hopefully will be able to allow me to control the flow on each of these, because I'm not going to need that much flow on this system. I'm going to need a lot of flow on that system over there. So I can see myself having to shut down this ball valve maybe a quarter of the way, halfway. But it is coming up, so we'll see. I'm going to go turn everything on first and see how it goes. But I have to hook up my my drip lines. I'm going to go 4 drip lines in this bucket, 4 in this bucket, 4 here, 4 there. And let me go hook up those drip lines, and I'm going to do this leak test and see if I can not electrocute myself. Chances of electrocution, yeah, the cord is in the floor. Probably going to hang it up somewhere higher before I start, but chances of electrocution, we'll go with 10%. Chances of leaks, we'll go with 100%. I'll just have to find them and fix them. But I did tighten up all the unions. So hopefully there won't be any leaks just because I was not paying attention to something. But yeah, so let me go ahead and start filling this up with water, and I'll be back when it's time to see what kind of a mess I'm going to make. Okay, good progress. I attached all these wires, which is crazy looking now. Looks like an octopus up here, but I attached all these drip lines to the manifolds. And this is the one thing, I might have to rethink this later and figure out a better way to do this. I've seen guys with rings, they put them around the plant and drip on there or whatever, but I'm gonna try this for now. If there's some kind of catastrophe, I'll probably change it, but for now it's okay. I'm gonna start off with this closed. So all I'm gonna be testing when I start off is the pressurized line to the waterfall over here. I just got done filling up all these buckets with water. So it took right around 12 gallons to fill up all these buckets, and I'm happy and proud to report that there's still no leaks on these bulkheads, which I've already tested this system before, but it's still good. So like I said, 12 gallons went in this total, so about 3 gallons per bucket till it started draining out over there. And here I just poured water in and checked the bulkhead. So far I haven't found a drip of water on the bulkheads under here either. So far, so good on all the leak tests. Everything is working the way it's designed. So I've got about 23-ish gallons total in here. So now it's time to go ahead and turn on the pump and test if the pressurized lines start leaking. So let me get this, actually, let me move this over here, where it's supposed to be. I seem to see that, actually, let's see, where do we go here? That's probably a good spot. Put that there. And then I'll just turn it on. Hopefully this pump doesn't cavitate when I turn it on. It's got zero, I'm not sure if it's gonna have water or not. If it has air in there and no water in the pump yet, it could cavitate, at which time no water will start pumping. And it'll be kind of annoying to me. But we'll see what happens here. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on this pump now. Actually, I'm just gonna plug it in. As soon as you plug it in, it jolts on. But here's the problem. We'll see if there's anything squirting. I hope I tightened up all the unions. We'll see. So power. Let's see if this thing starts pumping. Oh, yeah, it is working. Oh shit. Okay, pause. Pause. Got my first leak already. The union right there was leaking. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten the shit out of that right now. Let's see what happens here. Oh, it's not very tight, you dumb bastard. Okay. Alright, so hopefully that's tight enough now. Let's see what happens now. Let me try this again. So, that didn't take long to find a leak on the pressurized side. Let's see if it leaks again here. Alright. And action. Okay, so that leak is fixed. We got the waterfall pumping in all the spots here. Okay, this is where it was leaking right here, and I just tightened it up and it's fine, so. Oh, wait. Is it leaking? Motherfucker. Try to tell if it's leaking when it's still wet. I think it's good though. The difference between this freshwater and saltwater aquariums, where your plumbing is, what was that part here? With freshwater, it's not going to seal itself up. When you're dealing with saltwater aquariums and you on a bulkhead or whatever, if it's trickling out water, the salt seals it up over time. It's called salt creep, and it basically seals it up for you. And you can have problems like that, and they'll take care of themselves. But on freshwater like this thing will literally leak for eternity if it's leaking. So I got to make sure that it's not. So I think it's good. Either way, so let me get up here and show you the. Oh, by the way, the garage is actually tilted this way a little bit, tilted down that way, so this is going to be a little higher water level than it's supposed to be, but here's what we got. We got some good water agitation in each of these waterfall areas here. Each one of them is the same, basically. They're a little higher than that. Like I said, they're a little higher than they should be because this garage is tilted a little bit, but I'm not concerned with it. I think the net pots are still down below it, or maybe, actually, it's kind of a decent amount of pressure I'm blasting in there right now, so. Let me turn the pump down a smidge. A lot of water runs through this thing. This is the beauty of a DC pump. Is I can control the flow rate. Yeah, there's a ton of water blasting out this pipe. That's why it's so high. So there we go. Let me bring it way down. Bring it way down. I'm going to be testing the drip lines here next, so I need to get as low as I can. So that's about as low as I can get on the pressure. Alright, it's a little bit better. It's backed off a little bit, drained out a little bit, so. Alright, so each of these is running still. That's still high. But, like I said, it's a little downhill over here, so I think the water is higher than it should be in this section right now. But there it is over there, running back into the little makeshift sump I'm using right now. That's probably not going to be the sump, but it actually would work. Either way, so that's draining back in over there. A lot of water. And this thing, turns out, does not leak at this point. Let me put the net pot in there and see if it's actually coming off the bottom of the net pot. When I tried this before, it didn't come above the bottom of the net pot, so we'll see now. Yeah, it's coming up above the bottom of the net pot with an angle in the stupid garage here. That's not good. This one's not. So, yeah, this is on the. That makes sense. This is on the downhill side over here, so it's actually coming up. It's coming up into the net pot here. This one over here is not as far downhill, so it's not coming up as far in the net pot. But yeah, I think when I get these on level ground, I'll be better off. Either way, so that's the situation there, which I'm happy with these results so far. Now this is running fine. I need to go over here and try the old nightmare octopus situation over here and see what happens. This is what I'm really worried about. There's There's 8 on each side, so there's at least 16 of these little wires where it can go wrong and start leaking. And there's all these other connections and unions and everything else. I think I tightened everything else up, but let's go ahead and flip the switch and see what happens. So right now that union is closed. I'm going to go ahead and open it. Oh God. And I've got it down to the lowest pump setting, so if it does shoot up, at least it hopefully won't drain a gallon of the garage before I can stop it. So here we go. All right. All right, is shutting it. So let's see if it even goes up, because the pressure's down there lower, so maybe most of the water will go down there anyway, but we'll see what happens when I turn this. Oh, yeah. We have water. Okay. All these are getting water in them now. Here we go. So these are going to be directed at the roots basically, but it looks like all these are working really nicely. And here's this side over here. Every tube's getting some, well, you know what I should be worrying about is leaks right now, but I'm too excited to see I'm too excited to see this drip system actually looking like it might actually work. So all these are working, all these are working. All those are doing their little drainage. Yeah, I think this is gonna work. So there we go. There's the entire system. Everything's running. Let me go ahead and crank this pump up a little bit. Yeah, there's no leaks over here. Uh-oh, no. A little bit of water right there. I don't know if that's a leak or what. I don't like the looks of it. What is that? Right? Oh, fucker. Right there's a little bead of water. I don't like that. Besides that, though, I think I'll have to leave this running and see what happens with this water here. If it starts running down, then I'll have to address that. But at this point, I'm not. I better not say I'm not worried. I'm fucking worried. Either way, so all these are running. This is running. This is how the system is going to work when it's all hooked up together. This will be the seedlings being top fed by all these drip hoses will be arranged around the roots of each. And this is going to be the older plants. It's just going to be, I still have to put, drill a hole and put the air stones in there, but obviously this will be DWC over here. You'll be blasting air in there and doing everything else. But yeah, so far so good. I'm pretty happy with this right now, actually. I'm probably going to leave it in here running for a while. You know what? Let me see, is there any more water dripping off that sucker? I think that was it. Well, the other side. It might be a little drip on this bastard. Right there. You motherfucker. Well, that's alright. I might have to put something on there and make sure that's not dripping, but hopefully that's the kind of spot that it can. Yeah, it's coming out a couple drips there. But either way, I'm still pretty happy with the results here. Worst case scenario on that drip is usually it's going to be dripping right down the sump anyway, so yeah, everything is working the way it's supposed to work, the way it's designed to work. Can't believe that actually happened, and there's not any catastrophic leaks or things spraying in any direction. So, you know what? It's time to get cocky. I'm going to go ahead and go take a victory lap, make myself some sushi, come back out here in about an hour and see what it looks like. Either way, so this is the system. This is how it's going to be for the veg tent. Pretty excited about how this turned out, how it worked out. This is a productive and successful, I guess, Saturday night spent. So, there we go. Actually, you know what? Let me pump up this volume. Let me pump up this pump while I'm not doing anything and check it out. Let's see what we got to. Let's get up to, push it to 75% and see what happens. Yeah, you can see it coming up harder on these squirt lines here, blasting more. The water level is definitely going to raise over there in those. But yeah, I'm not seeing any extra leaks over here, so I think that one might be a leak there. Now I got it 90% maybe? I'm going to go all the way up to 100 and see what happens here. Wow, it sounds like a waterfall in here, that's for sure. Yep, you got water blasting everywhere. There. As long as one of these tubes doesn't flip up before I have it secured. That would be a problem right now, but looks like everything's okay. Yeah. Alright. Got enough water down there in the sump. yeah, there's plenty of water in the sump to keep going. Really splashy in here, but that's the whole point. These are high, like I said, on full blast. So from what I see, this thing should have enough power to do these two systems and the chiller. Like I said, I didn't bother with the chiller yet. The chiller's going to come off here, which is shut right now, but the chiller's going to come off here. It's going to go outside the tent, into the chiller outside, and then run back in to the sump underneath. And that's how the chiller's going to be tied in. And that's also how I'm probably going to do the draining the system is off the chiller line. Just run it outside the tent into a bucket or something and be done with it. So, but yeah, there we go, 100%. Everything's working good. I'm going to turn it down a little bit before I do. I'm not going to leave it at 100% when I go eat my sushi, but I am going to leave it on. I'll leave it right about 60%. Be fine. Let's go 55. All right, so leave it at 55% there. Oh, that's the other thing about it. The DC pump, like I said, it's more expensive, but there's a lot of benefits to DC pumps. And a couple of main ones are you can control the output is one. And the other one that's a big benefit, especially to DWC or RDWC, is that the pump is not nearly as hot as AC pumps. So it'll keep your water cooler. It's just, they're basically all around better pumps, but those are the two biggest benefits is the controllability and the cooler running. Actually, sorry, less electricity as well. There's a lot of things that DC pumps are better for. And I have that same brand. This is Higer pump right here. I have it on all my aquariums too, so that's why I stuck with it. It's been pretty good so far. But look, I got these pipes. The drainage pipes aren't exactly set in stone, but they're working pretty good, so happy with that. If you enjoyed this video, either way, so this is going to go in the veg tent probably next time you see it. I'm going to take these stands out and paint them white, just so they don't, something that'll kind of protect them a little bit against all the humidity in the water. I'm going to paint with some gloss white paint. I was thinking semi-gloss or matte, but the gloss is better for the water protection. So I'm going to paint these both with some gloss white paint, and then I'll put them in the veg tent over there, and the final product will be over there, and we'll be able to see exactly how all this fits together and how it's going to run, and I'm excited to do all that. So either way, if you watched this far, I appreciate you watching. If you liked the video, hit like. If you want to see more of this, see how it turns out, please hit the subscribe button. If you don't want to miss a video, hit the notification bell. And thanks again. See you guys later.